In this presentation, we're going to see how to use account schedules for Microsoft Dynamics NAV. So first we start to see why using account schedules. We look at the lines, the columns in terms of time, dimension and budget, and we'll see how to work with more than 2 dimensions. So should we use account schedules? Well, we don't have to. Instead, it's possible there are some other possibilities, and let's have a look at them. So on the chart of accounts, we have some reports, standard reports, and we have also the GL balance by dimensions, and we have the flow filters where we can put a filter on the date or n dimensions. So GL balance by dimensions. Let's put a date filter and have the columns as period. See what we have. So for each account we have the detail per period. Could be months, quarter, whatever. Now let's change that to put columns as department, that is a dimension. We have it as well. There are also some other reports depending on your country. So these reports are Asia Pacific reports, as you can see with the number. And this one is the income statement. So it gives you right away an income statement with the current period and current year to date, current period last year. The other one interesting is the financial analysis report, when we can have budget also, or 2 periods. Alright, so it's possible just to use these reports. But there are some limitations on that, and account schedules can be a very powerful tool. Let's have a look at the lines. So we're going to create one account schedules and to do a profit and loss, which is a very common use of account schedules. So first we're going to create some lines, and then after we look at the columns. So the lines. We can type lines one by one, or we can also insert lines from the chart of accounts, and that's what I'm going to do to make it quick. I'm going to filter on my accounts that are income statement account, and I'll take them all. So NAV has copied that in my account schedules lines, and let's have a look at what the result right away. So with an overview, I can see the actual per GL account, pretty much like the chart of accounts so far. However, with account schedules, so let's have a look also. We can also fiddle that a bit. You may have to show some columns. So I'm interested also this one, show opposite, because so far the revenues appear as minus because they are credit, and NAV debit is positive and credit is negative. But really a revenue should display as a positive number, so I'm going to reverse and to show that as an opposite sign. I'll put in bold also a couple of headings, a couple of total accounts. Right, and now my revenues are positive. So what you can do with account schedules is really to reorder your accounts and lines as you want. So here my chart of accounts is already pretty much as a P&L, but if I wanted to, that I could copy some rows and paste to put it somewhere else. So you can reorganize your lines, and it doesn't have to match exactly the way your chart of accounts is structured. You can also reorganize the rows. So here now I've started by putting the same as the account number. And on the totaling type, there are different options, and one of the commonly used is a formula. So we can put a formula that relates to the rows. So you could have your own convention on the rows instead of having the GL account. So here I'm changing the convention just to show you an example of how we can do that. And my total account, total of sale of retail, will be a formula summing the rows 1010 to 1199. Here is the result, exactly the same so far. So big advantage is to be able to reorganize the lines. Now let's have a look at the columns. And we start by showing the columns by time. So instead of showing just one column, here we could have something with actual and budget. That's good, but we don't have anything showing the different months. Let's try to do that. And we're going to edit to create a new column layout. Let's call it by month. And we're going to edit the columns to create some columns. So column number, it's a convention. You can put what you want. And here I'm saying that, let's say my fiscal year starts in January. So I want my first column to be January. You need to display also the different columns for, and I suggest you have the comparison date formula and comparison period formula. You can use either one or the other. There are some advantages in, I can't go into too much details about that. Let's say the way I suggest is that you type in the comparison period formula FY and the period 1. On column type we can see different options, and the ledger entry we can have the GL or the budget entries. So February is going to be the period 2, and so on. So I create the 12 months, and on the help you've got the explanation of how this comparison periods works. So I've created all the 12 months plus a total with a formula, and now I can have my P&L by months. I can drill down. Here you see the date filter on the GL account, and on the ledger entries. So I've created also another one by quarter, works pretty much the same way. And to show you how it is set up, just here the period comparison period formula is 1.3 4.6 Now let's have a look at the columns by dimensions. So instead of displaying the time at the x-axis, we would like to see the different dimensions. So far, if I go to the dimension on the department, which is my first dimension, we have 3 values: administration, production, and sales. Let's go back in our account schedules, in the columns, and we're going to create another column layout department. So I want to see in my x-axis the different departments. So as we did before, I edit the column. The column number, just a convention again. I call that, let's say, and you can put whatever you want, administration. And here I'm going to use the department totaling, department code totaling. So it's a filter, and you can see the first 4 dimensions are here. So that's a filter, and here I'd want to see just the ADM administration entries. So it's possible, as it means it makes sense to do that if you don't have too many dimensions value. Let's say 10, maybe 20 to the most. And something that doesn't change often, which should be much most of the time the case with dimensions. Now let's have a look at our profit and loss, and not by months. We're going to see that with by departments. Okay, I can see my 3 departments. So it works in the same way for the first 2 dimensions. If we want to work with more than 2 dimensions, how do we do that? You see that the first 2 dimensions, department and project, are editable by default, but the other columns are grayed out, other filters. So to get that activated, you need the analysis view name, which is both on the lines and on the columns. That needs to be filled with the same dimension. Sorry, not dimensions, I meant the same analysis view. So an analysis view is a pre-calculation by NAV of the entries, GL, budget, for up to 4 dimensions at the same time. So NAV can make the pre-calculation so that the result is quick to have and can be displayed on the account schedules. So to extend to have more than 2 dimensions, we use this analysis view. So to sum up, with account schedules, you can define the line as you want, kind of reorganize your chart of accounts, create new columns, display some, group sums, can display that with a different net change, balance, different options to show things, totals. It's also possible to filter the lines. It's not commonly used, but it's still possible. And in the same way, you define your columns as you want. That could be a department at a time, or the actual versus budget, or a combination of that. We define that as we want, showing either the GL or the budget. and we display, we can have different date formulas on it, and we can filter by dimensions. So account schedules is a powerful tool, and there are even some more possibilities that we haven't covered in this video.